Thank you for joining. Welcome to Brunch Bites. We'll be diving into three key topics for that matter to every business, and that's telephony. So, like your telecoms bills, managing costs, and the PTN switch off. So I'll basically dive into each topic. Just to make these complex topics simple and actionable. So just a quick intro. My name is Neil Mavji. I'm head of IT communications at Qlic. We're passionate about helping SMEs, charities, and not-for-profits with their IT and now telecom solutions. So over 20 years experience in the sector. Started in 2002, grown into one of the UK's leading managed service providers for the charity sector, with a team of over 40 IT professionals supporting more than 350 organisations across the UK. What we do, so we manage and co-manage IT support, cloud migrations, Microsoft 365 and SharePoint, cybersecurity, and we now provide voice over IP or telephony solutions, broadband and mobile. All services are tailored, keeping them reliable, cost-effective and flexible for office or remote teams. Just more about our telephony or telecom services. We cover connectivity, telephony, and mobile. Starting with broadband, this is ideal for small offices and hybrid working. It provides reliable business-grade internet with built-in security and monitoring to keep things running smoothly. Leased lines are for organisations where uptime and performance really matters. So, unlike standard broadband, this gives you a dedicated connection with guaranteed speeds and service levels. They're best suited to cloud systems, heavy data use, and busy environments. Downtime is where downtime is not an option, basically. Elevate is our cloud phone system, which replaces a traditional phone system like your on-premise PBXs, etc., like your old landlines. It includes modern features like call routing, auto attendance, voicemail to email, and AI features. Staff can take calls on desk phones, mobiles, laptops, or directly in Microsoft Teams. So communication is not tied to one building. It also integrates with CRM systems, which helps streamline workflow and reduce time spent switching between systems. Finally, we provide mobile services, including SIM-only, unlimited data, handset contracts, and mobile or tablet devices. We work with all major UK networks, so we can recommend the best coverage and pricing for each organisation. Understanding your bill. So most telecom bills grow over time and services are added, changed, or left in place when the original need has changed. It's very common to find a mix of new and old services on the same bill, including broadband, call packages, hosted telephony licenses, and add-ons. What many organisations don't realise is that legacy services often stay on bills long after they are no longer being used. These include unused ISDN lines, analog lines, or old broadband circuits that were used as backups but never removed. Other hidden costs can come from things like fax lines, alarm lines, payment terminals, so your PDQ. Even though it's running off of, it may have been transferred over to the Wi-Fi or an Ethernet connection, the line would still remain active if not ceased otherwise. The challenge is that telecom bills are rarely easy to read, so it's not always obvious what each charge relates to or whether it is still needed. By breaking the bill down into individual components, it becomes much easier to see what is essential, what can be removed, and where better value options exist. For most organisations, a simple review can often uncover quick savings with no impact on daily operations. This is just like an example bill that we've got, pretty redacted. So just, again, like it won't break down any information. So it's very hard to digest what you're actually paying for. Common overspending. So charities often, for the charity sector, they often for unused phone numbers, fax lines, legacy service like ISDN or analog lines, or call packages that are no longer required. It's not just also like long-term contracts with automatic renewals. Most terms are a 90-day notice period. Within that, so sometimes when you've come to look for a new provider, you've already may have tied into another year or 12-month rolling contract without knowing. So it's also good to check your contracts, and also source other basic source other providers to get a competitive quote. By identifying and removing unnecessary lines and services, many organizations can quickly reduce monthly costs without affecting day-to-day operations. So comparing providers, when reviewing telecom quotes, it's easy to focus on the headline monthly price, but this rarely tells the full story. Two providers can appear to charge the same amount, yet deliver very different service levels of service, features, and flexibility. It's important to look closely at contract length and exit fees, because a cheaper monthly cost can offset by being locked into a long contract with expensive termination charges. Hardware and installation costs are another area where pricing can differ. Some quotes look competitive up front, but add unexpected charges later. Again, with call plans, which is also worth checking, limits on minutes, mobile calls, and international usage can lead to higher than expected monthly bills. Included also features, so like functions like Teams integration, call recording, and reporting can be essential for some organizations and chargeable with chargeable extras. And finally, considering the level of support, faster support, better onboarding, and account management all add real value, but aren't always reflected in the headline price. A good comparison looks at the whole picture, so you can choose based on long-term value, not just the cheapest number on the page. Optimizing your setup. So modern cloud telephony like Elevate is not just a replacement for old phone system. It's more efficient and flexible way of managing communications across your organization. Consolidating lines means reducing the number of separate services and supplies you are paying for. This makes things easier to manage, easier to support, and easier to bill. Moving away from physical phone systems also reduces hardware maintenance costs. There is no longer a need to maintain equipment on site, and upgrades usually happen automatically in the background. Cloud telephony supports flexible working by allowing staff to make and receive calls from anywhere using laptop or mobile or Teams integration, while still presenting the organization's main phone number. Features like call routing, again with the Teams integration, voicemail to email, AI call summary, and mobile apps make staff easier to reach, improve call handling, and improve reliance on one physical location. Finally, cloud solutions are inherently more resilient. If there is an issue at one site, calls can still continue elsewhere, helping to reduce downtime and improve reliability. So coming to the PSTN switch off, it's recently been extended to 2027. So just a broad overview on the switch off. The UK's national public switched telephone network, PSTN, is being permanently withdrawn, and in support for analog and ISDN lines. So these would be like your old broadband lines that relied on a phone or on our copper line to provide internet. Any business, so who's affected? Any business still relying on traditional phone lines will be impacted. Devices such as routers, fax machines, alarms, lifts, card machines, these will all need to be upgraded. Why it's good to act now. Waiting until the last minute increases the risk of delays, rushed installs, and service disruption. Starting early allows a smooth and well-planned transition. The benefits of modernizing, moving to a cloud-based solution like Elevate provides a greater flexibility, scalability, and access to modern features that legacy systems don't support. And again, just on the update with the deadline. So it was originally set for December, so basically now, as the switch off date, but this has now been extended. The final switch off date for all PSTN and ISDN services is now been scheduled for the 31st of January 2027. So in preparation, like I mentioned earlier, the key is not to wait until the date gets closer. Leaving this to the last to the last minute increases the risk of service issues, install delays, and again, rush decisions. Many organisations don't realise how many systems still rely on traditional phone lines until they carry out a proper audit. This includes not just desk phones, but also, like I said, also alarms, entry systems, lift lines, etc. That's why we are offering a free telecoms audit. We review your telecom services, identify any services that still rely on PSTN or copper networks, and clearly show what needs changing. This removes the stress and saves you time because you don't have to untangle it yourself. The first step is simply understanding what you have today. Once you know what services rely on PSTN, you can plan properly and avoid surprises later on. Moving to a VoIP or cloud telephony solution is not just about replacing phones. It improves resilience and flexibility, and in many cases reduces costs by removing services you no longer need or use. To make it easier to get started, we're also offering a free installation for new signups between December and February 26. This removes another barrier to upgrading and helps organizations move sooner rather than faster. Sooner rather than later.